Hi students, this is another little writing video. This one is going to focus on sentence problems. Remember, the main thing in your writing is that you want to be clear. You want to be understood. You want the reader to know exactly what you want to say. And unfortunately, sometimes writing can be a barrier between your ideas and your reader because sometimes you make mistakes, or we make mistakes in writing, or we're not as clear as we could be. And these 5 mistakes that we have in writing often pose that barrier between the reader and what the writer wants to say. So let's talk about the 5 mistakes, and I'll put them in order of seriousness. The first one is the most serious mistake. It's called a sentence fragment. This is when, like the name says, you have a fragment. You just have part of a sentence. You don't have a subject and a verb. You just have a subject or a verb. It's as if I said, the weather, period. It's not a sentence. We don't know what about the weather. The weather is nice. I mean, that's a whole sentence. So if you don't have a whole sentence, it's called a sentence fragment. The second kind, it basically has to do with punctuation. There are 2 of these. There's a comma splice. This is when you try to take 2 sentences and put them together using a comma, but you forget that you need to add one of the fanboys. You might say, the weather is nice today, and then you just put a comma, I went to the beach. Remember, you have to say comma and, comma but, comma so, alright? That's important, just to make sure that you use commas correctly. Okay, that's the first mistake with punctuation, called a comma splice. The second is called a run-on. A run-on is when you use a comma incorrectly, and you forget it this time. Remember, the comma splice, you added it when you shouldn't have. And the run-on is when you forget to use a comma. You might say, I went to the store and they had a lot of food there. You forgot to put the comma before the and, okay? That's very important. Make sure that you don't forget commas when you should, all right? So the last kind of mistake, we call them choppy sentences and stringy sentences. And these are about style. A choppy sentence is just when you have a lot of little sentences put together, like, I went to the store was very busy, there was a sale on something popular, we decided not to go in. You have these 4 sentences that just are choppy, and you want to try to combine them in a way that works. You say, I went to the store because I needed some food, but I found out that there were too many people, period, thus I decided not to go. All right? The last kind is called a stringy sentence, and this is basically when you have a too long sentence. You say, oh, the weather is nice today, so I decided to go to work, but then I found out that my boss was sick and I didn't want to stay, and so we went on. You know, it just gets on too long. The way to fix it is to cut it up and make a sentence that's more palatable. You know, although the weather was nice today, I decided to go to work, period. When I got there, I decided to see my friends, da-da-da. Okay, it starts to be more clear. The main point, again, is make sure your writing is as clear as it possibly can be, so that the reader, me or anybody else, knows exactly what you want to say. All right? We have a little challenge here. Simply the first 5 people to give me a high 5 in class today will get a little bonus. Okay? It's a simple one. Take care.